Hello, everyone. Welcome for those of you that are returning to part 3 of a 3-part series, Total Transformation from Your Brain to Your Biz. And today's focus is on value creation and all that entails and profits. So, a bit about me for those of you that are joining for the first time. When my transformation started, it was 2011. I was very, very focused or unstable in the sense of being drawn in by the world's version of success, partial purpose in giving, making others more than 8 figures, earning 6 figures, 155 pounds, spending over 150%, and in debt. And the debt was on a lot of stuff. I'm a firm believer now that food is fuel and money is seed. So, yes, we are meant to enjoy our lives, but we are also meant to be mindful of the energy that we exert both in our time, in our food, in our money, in our relationships, in every single dimension. And after creating a life to love, focused on purpose and passion, completely changed relationships, friendships, just focus on positivity, limitless potential and giving back, 120 pounds. This picture on the right is actually after my first fitness competition, spending less than 40% and growing over 100% consistently, and almost debt-free and very, very mindful of food is fuel, money is seed, where the money goes, and what it's invested in for the future. So if you haven't listened to part 1 and 2, I would highly recommend it. You can go to fitlifecreation.com and click on the blog. And those parts are on mindset, health, and wealth for part 1. And part 2, we did a purpose to profits activity. And there's also several other self and group activities that you can do. So today we're going to be talking about value creation. This is something that I actually created my last year in corporate in 2010, and I was actually practicing it for a long time beforehand, but I really hadn't developed a framework. So step 1, and I'm going to show you some examples, is generate where you are. So if you are in a position at a company, even if you don't like that position, think about problems you can solve. Think about ways that you can help your boss. Think about initiative that you can take. And that company or that boss may not be the ones to promote you, but that energy is not wasted, especially when you consider that is something else you're learning, that is more value that you're generating, that is more faith that you're putting out there, and more importantly, gratitude for what you have right now. Instead of whining and complaining about what you don't like, take that energy and do something to change and to leave where you are better than where and how it was when you came in. Set the standard, don't follow the standard. Act for what you want. And this ties directly to promotion. I was taught from a young age by my parents that in faith, you act for what you want. They didn't necessarily articulate it in that way, but I've come to realize over the last several years, when you act as if you are already, meaning you're giving already, you're leading already, you're setting the example already, then the promotion's inevitable. The results are inevitable. It's just in that journey that you have to overcome those tests. And I actually went through this in college, quote unquote, during a actual graduation then in undergrad and grad school, but I didn't realize what was going on. I didn't realize that I was shedding, the old me and becoming a new person. But now, for reflecting back on that journey, before I got into corporate, before I made those, made 6 figures and kept adding more and more and more value to the tune of over 10 million even in 1 year with one particular company, having that frame of reference now allows me the insight and the mindfulness to know when I'm being faced with different, things to overcome, especially in fear. And all there is at the end of the day, you guys, is love and fear. So when you're acting a specific way, ask yourself, am I acting out of love, faith, and abundance? Or am I acting out of fear, scarcity, and lack? And it's the same exact thing I ask myself when people respond in different ways. Are they acting out of love or are they acting out of fear? And the more mindful you are of that, the more you're able to extensively give grace, because you realize the times that you've acted the same way or very similarly, because nothing happens by accident, and it goes back to the laws. And I talk about the divine laws in part 1. So again, I highly, highly recommend you listen to that, because everything that I'm talking about, and specifically right now, talks about the law of attraction, the law of compensation, the law of value, so the law of vibration. So being very mindful of your energy and being very mindful of what you're attracting and making those shifts and those mindset shifts and those spirit shifts will dramatically change your life. The next thing I want to talk about is releasing recognition. So just like I was taught act for what you want and promotion, and those promotions all came, I was more so taught, or it was a dichotomy of two different things. I was taught, in full faith to give that, but I was also taught, in a sense, to distrust, or, just to realize, not to distrust, but to realize that a particular situation or a particular person may not give you that reward. So in a sense, it was wisdom, but it also inside of me generated fear, which I know now was not the intention. So with that in mind, once again, let me say that the person, the place, the results may not come specifically from that area, and or the recognition may not come when you think it's going to come. That time is man-made, and when your heart is all about the recognition as opposed to the service, oftentimes that recognition will be withheld. And recognize your time is your time, and as long as you work on your heart more than anything and yourself, it will come. But if you are the type of person that's gone all in a number of different other areas, your things to overcome are going to be extensive, because you're being groomed for something way above and beyond that you can imagine. So keeping that attitude of gratitude, keeping that selflessness, keeping that service, giving 100 times, infinity times more than what you're paid for, in faith and in trust, inevitably life will give you back all of that and more. And it will blow you away. And again, I saw this before on a much smaller scale in my 20s into my early 30s. And now I'm starting to witness it again. And being that I'm super mindful of it, it's crazy when I compare my circumstances to the leaps of faith that I'm taking and the things that are already manifesting, guys. I'll be sharing it in the next couple of months once I see more of the results, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. And when I say infinity times, it is infinity times. And when you release that recognition, and when you release that control, and the how and the when and the who that it shows up, you're saying to the universe that I'm ready for all the abundance that you have. And so with that in mind, that's when you with clarity get to work, and you focus and you build. You put your head down, you get to work, you've released the recognition, you're acting for what you want, you're generating value where you are, you have gratitude where you are, and every single day you focus on faith, every single day you focus on action, exponential infinity times action, and every single day you focus on your fears too. Because there are going to be situations that come up that test you to see, will you remain calm? Will you face them? Or will you react like you used to, i.e. explode, or shy away and deny, which I've been on both spectrums. And my natural was to explode years ago. But over the last couple years, God put me through kind of a ringer to explain the other, so I can definitely relate to both. And then you focus and focus and focus and keep picking up that rug and looking underneath. What other fears or what other faith and trust do I need to exhibit? Where else do I need to clean up for promotion? Where else do I need to show or demonstrate gratitude? And so here's some examples. So similar to what we did in the Purpose to Profits activity in the prior week, and again, that's on the blog, then here you're looking at generating where you are, acting for what you want. So the first two parts are kind of similar because here, this was like what I love, but what I love, I need to show that I love. So every single day, I need to show gratitude, to God, to praying for my future spouse, to my companies, to the nonprofits that I'm creating, to Herbalife, to family and friends, to wealth, to health, and just being very, very mindful of that. And acting for what you want. So how is, my attitude? How are the bonuses that I'm giving clients or value that I'm putting out there in the world like this? Not seeking, money specifically. If that comes of it, great. If someone ends up, aligning to a program or an academy or a retreat, our Costa Rica trip, great. But that's not the intention. The intention is to simply provide value from these presentations themselves and that they stand alone. Clothing, do you demonstrate and show like who you are? And then releasing the recognition. So not being, putting timelines out there, but not being married to them. And for me, you guys, this was so important because before I would set goals, I would always hit them exponentially, but I would run over people in the process. I would miss gratitude. I would run over myself. My health was in disarray. So for me, this is a very powerful lesson in that our Creator is saying, your goals will get there, but I have to be mindful and I have to be sure that you're going to understand not running over yourself, not running over people because of the greater implications of the story of our lives. And then I am completely focused in building. So I write down my goals every single day as far as what's my focus for that day. I also do 30-day and 90-day plans. And typically now, you guys, it's crazy. Once I got focused beyond going back to how I was in college, writing stuff down on a calendar, like I keep like a school teacher calendar, then I reinforce it on Workboard, then I also write it down on planners I've created, which you can download for free at fitlifecreation.com under freebies. I have a daily prioritizer and I have a quarterly prioritizer, which is exactly what I use. Now my 90-day plans, you guys, are typically executed in 30 to 45 days. So it's literally maximizing and multiplying momentum and catapulting time. So demonstration, here's another aspect of that, and this is specifically within the Transformation Academy, that it's a multi-point strategy. I want whatever you do, like for something similar, determine your action. Consistency is key, impacting lives, determining pricing and promotions and your value, estimates per area, and a 1 month, 1 year, potentially 3 year, very high level forecast, and review monthly, daily, weekly, just keep your eyeballs on it. In addition to this, I email myself a status report every single day. I email myself key performance indicators every day and include the actions that I'm taking. And I email myself an ongoing tracking sheet of goals and actions. So another note that I have on here, value is first, money is last. And this goes back to session 1 where I talk about instant gratification, that we are taught money is first, value is last. And you guys, that is completely flipped. That we're trained to take money and we're trained to take money that is less than our worth. Realize that you are worth so much more and you have infinite capabilities in your brain. You have billions in your brain. There's a book I read called Acres of Diamonds, and I equate that to billions in our brains. You have unique gifts, talents, and abilities. And again, this is highly correlated to the Purpose to Profits activity in section or part 2. So you can see here how the Transformation Academy ties to social media, the academies themselves, digital, which will include videos, blogs, webinars, ebooks, advisories. So comment and share what you've learned and hashtag here. And then what are the results? Here are some of the results of myself, clients through the programs, academies, and retreats, and ambassadorships and fundraising. And then again, in case you missed that earlier, there's a ton of bonuses that I have, the 90-day plans, the daily plans, and under freebies at fitlifecreation.com. So feel free if you would like to email, look at programs. There's plenty of information on our site. Feel free to reach out. And this is our mission. And thank you so, so much for your time. And enjoy the rest of your day.